Carl and Brendan here from Games, Brains and Head-Banging Life, gbhblofficial for short, and it is reaction battle time as we go to something extreme, something with parental advisory on the lyrical content alone. It is, of course, Cerebral Rot with the track Excretion of Mortality. Brendan, you know this better than I do. You reviewed it.
I do. Yeah, so American band, Doom Death, apparently, but probably quite heavily in the kind of Doom sort of sludgy kind of camp, which on the face of it is not my normal kind of cup of tea, but I really enjoyed it. I know that there's a explicit lyrics, but good luck trying to understand what they're saying.
Yeah, I mean, if I didn't know what I already know about this band, I took one look at the cover and the name and ignored the length of the track. My initial thought would be, oh, we're about to hit something grind/death. You know,
yeah, and that's kind of what I thought it was as well, to be honest with you. That's what I thought I was going into, and I just grabbed it because I wanted something like more extreme. And don't get me wrong, it's very fucking heavy, you know, but it wasn't what I was expecting at all. And it was, not only was it a really nice surprise for me that I really enjoyed it, but I think it's probably one of the best albums that come out this year, actually. And it was quite nice to see that. After listening to it, I noticed a lot of other people like pulling, like when it got released, I noticed a lot of other people like on forums and stuff like that, all saying like, has anyone heard this? This might be the best album of the year. So I felt quite justified. I was like, oh, that's good. I was right.
You were there first.
Yeah. So, but yeah, it's very, very good. It's very, very heavy. Like I'm not going into this one expecting you to not like it. That's to be sure. This is possibly quite safe for me, but yeah, we'll see.
Agreed. There's also a strong possibility, although we can't be sure because we never got told, but this album, this review may have been the reason why we got a 24-hour Facebook ban because it was the most recent offensive thing we did.
Oh yeah,
but who knows? All right, let's do this in 3, 2, 1, go. Straight in, no video. It's odd, it's weird.
Definitely got the Doom sort of feel.
Yeah, that fucking...
It's like it's the first song on the album, so this is what you hear straight from the beginning, and it's like, oh shit.
It's a great intro though, then, like the thick of the beginning of an album, yeah. I can't help but thinking like swarming insects because of that guitar, that thing that's been going from the start. Like,
yeah. I think as I went over the album, the guitars are great. There's lots of great things, but it's the drummer across the album is just immense.
It's very heavy. Do it again. You gonna do it again? That's hilarious. Oh, this would kill live, my god.
Yeah. Nice dark room.
Yeah, I can picture the venues. It's generally a track that makes you feel dirty.
Yeah,
like, it's
doesn't it?
grimy.
It's got like more groove than it should be allowed to have.
Yeah, the more I'm getting used to the swarming guitar sound, the more I'm kind of find myself going, yeah. That's repetition, but good repetition. We're changing it up. Okay, that sounded like someone was generally fucking their guitar.
Oh, his guitar was squealing in pain.
Yeah.
With that slow headbang on.
Yeah, that's very slow. Just head in the hands thing. That is 7 minutes. That generally fucking flies by. There isn't a second of that song, right, that doesn't feel necessary. Which, if you told me that at the start, I was sure there was going to be a point where I'm like, that's probably a bit of silliness that could have been taken out, or probably unnecessarily dragged down beat that could have just been cut here and there. But listen to all the way through. It's almost actually shocking that it ends so almost abruptly, where it's just like, oh no, we're done. What you're done now, after proceeding to do that for 7 minutes, now you decide, oh, sorry guys, listen to the next track. What?
Yeah.
In a way,
that's what I was going to say. If you think, like, I had a similar thought when I was reviewing the album, but when I got to the last song on the album, is around 12 minutes long, and I thought, even having listened to the album and loved it so far, I was like, that's going to be too much. And again, I came at the end of it, it was like, oh, is it over? It was like, it wasn't 12 minutes because they wanted to make a 12-minute song, because that's what the song had to be. And because of that, it just fits. And like you said, nothing feels stretched, nothing feels out of place. It's a heavy atmospheric track.
Yeah, and here's the thing: like, there's so much repetition in it, but again, it's not an issue. Like, it's not like an expansive, progressive metal song. There's repetition in the riffs, there's repetition in the beats, repetition in the rhythm, and stuff like that, and it's perfectly fucking fine because when they do shift and they do change it up, it's so noticeably different that you're almost it reminds me of, this is how I'd write it if I was writing a review. Well, I like to use descriptive words. It is similar to being partly where you're in some deep fucking cavern, because the way it's produced, the way it sounds, everything has this weird, not weird because that makes it sound like it's bad, this almost echo effect or distant effect where you're almost like hearing it around you and you're lost in this cavern and you go, where is the sounds coming from? Like you're on a fucking pathway towards hell. And at times, like particularly with the guitars, that's the fucking screams of the damned, man. You talk about the drums and they are momentously heavy, really, really. The bass percussion, they're doing everything hard there. But like the squeals of the guitar, I mean, that's some fucking, it's downright horrible to hear almost. If you hated heavy metal and you played this, my God, I think a person would generally be like, no, I can't do this. This is just too much. Like, what the fuck is, not even at what's going on, because it's easy to follow because it has those so slow doomy parts. It's not about frantic speed and stuff like that, which is all the more impressive because a lot of these sort of bands do tend to go, well, we've gone slow and heavy. Now it's time to just go blisteringly fast because we want to sound like a death metal grindcore-esque band. Nice to see this band kind of portrays that and actually focuses on heavy without being an obvious doom band. Like, you know what I mean? You know what a doom album would sound like. You know what you're getting from it, whether it be a more modern style or the old school of doom. You can follow along. I don't think it's easy to turn around and say, oh, this is a doom band. This is genre breaking stuff.
Yeah, that's exactly what I think. I think it is genuinely, because it's quite strange, like, to explain it to, I guess, to somebody like, I don't know, maybe new to metal or something like that. That would probably feel massively extreme.
Yeah.
But I think within the extreme sort of area, the extreme genre, that's very progressive. I think that is taking elements of grind and elements of death, but also very heavily within that sludge and doom environment, and created something that's pretty much their own. You know, and the band themselves, like in some of the stuff I was doing when I was researching a review, you know, they put a lot of belief into. They believe that they can, like you said, like make the music toy with your emotions to a degree. It's not about making you cry or making you feel, but it's about like giving you that feeling of weightiness and the fact that they can actually be extremely heavy without blasting. You know, that, and I think it comes across perfectly. I think they 100% succeeded if that was their mission.
No arguments. Big part of music, like anything, is put me in the right place. If you're trying to sell me something, it's not necessarily trying to sell me a concept or a story, but if you're trying to sort of make it feel in a certain way, I would like to be able to picture that, or at least let me make my own decision there where I go, okay, I can picture this. You know, I said at the start, it's started to remind me of like a swarm of insects, those guitars. And that's what I started to think. I ended up starting to think of horror. And I started to think of there's a horror movie involving cockroaches. I can't remember what it's called. And I started to think of that. I think it might even call Swarm and stuff like that. When I was thinking about Cavernous, I started thinking of As Above, So Below, which is a movie that sucks. But I started to think of that, you know? And then The Descent, I started to think of The Descent at the end because of the whole echoing idea where you're not too sure where sound's coming from. And is it next to you or is it far away and shit like that, you know? That's kind of cool.
I'll take it. That's a win then.
Yeah, I mean, Jesus, it was awesome. It was awesome. It really is. That's something I want to see. Like we said it during it, but my God, that song alone, like that's got to be killer live.
That'd be absolutely amazing. Somewhere nice and small, like we were saying, like the Underworld, or you know, even somewhere like a Boston Music Room or something like that. That reverb from the speakers, man, the room would be shaking.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Feel the floor. Yeah, we felt the floor in the past. So yeah, man, man.
No, it's very good.
It is, of course it is. It's a win. So if you've got a different thought or if you agree, let us know in the comments.